Yeah, let's talk football now, courtesy of the Ray and Nephew Jamaica Premier League, as match week 25 culminated on Thursday with a pulsating doubleheader at the Anthony Spalding Sports Complex in South St Andrew. In the first encounter, title holders Cavalier in 5th went up against 3rd placed Montego Bay United. Dean Smith was on commentary and he has the recap. All right, stocking there. Not like the match last night because it was pretty good. A lot of quality in that Montego United versus Cavalier encounter. And of course, the match ending in a draw, keeping Montego Bay United in 3rd position and Cavalier down in 5th position. And of course, Cavalier, the defending champions. Remember, the top 6 will advance to the playoffs. And at this stage, you would have to say that the top 5 pretty much safe, but there is still somewhere to go. We're at match week 25 and we go all the way up to what, 38 or 39 lands before we 39. Get to the playoffs. 39, yeah. Match week 39 before we get to the playoffs. So yeah, last night's match, a pretty good one. And I was really looking forward to that one, Lance and Mariah.
Yeah, some would say shocking too, because you think about Cavalier, despite that they're 5th on the table, they're going up against a Mobe team. You'd feel as if the players would step up and want to defeat Mobe to, of course, change the standings on the table. Rudolph Speed, he spoke about it, saying, the players didn't really capitalize on the chances that they got. Of course, some may say it's just excuses because against a Mobe team that has really been dominant this season so far, some would say it's a fair result, but I felt as if Cavalier would have done a bit more. So disappointing for me on their part.
Yeah, I think Cavalier will be dangerous ultimately when they get to the playoff. They've had an interesting season because for most of the early parts of the season, I think the focus really was the Caribbean Cup and having won that. And when you consider the number of matches that they had to play in that tournament, that would have, can I say, somewhat taken away the focus from the Jamaica Premier League. But because it is such a long regular season, you have the opportunity, once you're in that top 6, to then peak for the playoffs. So you don't have to necessarily be winning matches, stringing wins along all the way through the campaign. It's about picking your moments and understanding when to peak. And I get the feeling that Cavalier is at that stage where they understand where they are on the table, what is required to get into the playoffs, and that it is when they get to the playoffs that they have to get the peak right.
Yeah, well, I know that I've heard Rudolph Speed in post-match interviews in recent weeks, and that's exactly the narrative that I'm getting from him, that he feels the team is where they want to be, and they'll be good enough when the time is right. Let's hear the coach's post-match comments now as Montego Bay United came from behind for a 1-1 draw with Cavalier.
First of all, we play against the Caribbean champion. So, and this is kind of game that is going to be the playoff. Playoff is going to be like this kind of game. Small details sometimes make a big difference. I mean, I'm proud of my boys because they did a great effort. And at the end, yeah, I am disappointed, but I'm proud of my player performance.
They applied some instruction to close down the 8 and the 6, and once we did that, we had the game. It's just a pity. Even late in the game, we could have gotten the winner. But that's how it goes. Mobe, they played very well, especially in the first half. Again, I thought we gave away a goal, a soft goal, but that's how it goes sometimes. We just have to come again another day. But I'm encouraged how we play in the second half. I think we're getting there slowly.
Yeah, so both coaches showing respect for each other. Liz Williams thinks that Zapata, the Argentine native, is one of the best coaches in the Premier League at the moment. Montego Bay, since in the past few weeks, have stuttered a bit because just from Christmas going into mid-January, they had won like 5 out of their 6 matches. But just for the past couple of weeks, they haven't been doing as well.
Yeah.
So he would be disappointed he didn't get the win last night. But I think it was a fair result because given the two teams' current form, I think both of them are good enough not to lose to the other team.
Yeah, one of the things coach said is that, you know, the finer details really matter. And I think that was demonstrated in this match when they went head-to-head. Ricardo?
Yeah, and I think when you consider as well that they did lose to Arnett Gardens, so they'll be wary of the fact that as it is now, they're not beating the top 5 teams. You want to be beating the top 5 teams because those are the teams you're going to play in the playoffs. So that is something that Montego Bay United and Costa Parta will want to fix. Now, the second encounter featured arch rivals Arnett Gardens and Waterhouse in what they call Jamaica's version of El Clasico. Donald Oliver was on commentary.
As we take a look at the highlights of the game, we'll see the first attempt. Kimani Arboin just inside the box, should have done better. That one was over the top. And then Dylan John finding a tap for Bygrave, didn't have much power behind it. Had power behind that header though. Good goal. The opener for Waterhouse. Getting the lead on enemy territory. And Bygrave on target, his 8th of the campaign. And then, not too long after, trouble for Waterhouse, just inside the box. Tivis Paul with a late challenge on Warner Brown. Penalty awarded by O'Shea Nation. Brown picked himself up, scored. And getting his 14th goal of the campaign, Warner Brown. One. And then look at this bit of play. Thomas with the hit right into the corner. The Waterhouse fans disappointed, but that was a good goal from Thomas. The keeper unsighted. Maybe a slight deflection as well. And Arnett Gardens 2-1 up. But opportunity coming up. Dallas with a delightful ball inside. Oh my goodness me, that was beautiful. And Javane Bryan, the Trench Town guy, with the equalizer. Wonderful stuff, getting his 4th goal of the campaign. Javane Bryan. That really was of the highest production. But more twists to come. Fed into the path of Shantamoy Taylor. Good finish. Scoring against Waterhouse again. Nelson with good work. And Taylor with a deadly finish. 3 minutes from time. And it was game, set and match.
All right, let's look at the full match week results then. Tivoli and Chapperton Maroons 1-1, same scoreline. Humberline versus Racing United. Portmore United and Dunbeholden 0-0. Vere United and Harbourview 1-1. So we had 5 drawn results, including the Cavalier versus Montego Bay scoreline. Lots of goals. Mount Pleasant versus Malign 6-2 for Mount Pleasant, and Arnett Gardens closing the round with a 3-2 win over Waterhouse. And this is how it leaves the table looking after match week 25. Mount Pleasant atop the standings, 7 points clear of Arnett Gardens, who have 48 points. Arnett 3 ahead of Montego Bay United, who are 3rd on 45. Then Portmore United in 4th on 39th. Cavalier 38 and Waterhouse 34 are the other teams in the playoff positions. Racing United, with that draw, staying ahead of Tivoli. They have 29 points, 5 off a playoff spot at this stage, so they are still in with a shot. Tivoli will still feel they are in with a shot. They are 6 points off a playoff spot. Dunbeholden further back on 23 points, same as Malines, Chapperton and Harbourview in 12. At least the teams up to 10th will feel that they're in a good place to avoid relegation. Chapperton and Harbourview still have work to do, and Vere United and Humber Lion have the most work to do because they are in the relegation positions at this stage of the season, with 14 rounds still to come in the regular season. A lot of football still to play, but Arnett Gardens, Lance and Mariah finding a way to win, even as the coach Xavier Gilbert admitted they were not at their best.
Yeah, definitely not at their best, because they were 2-1 at one point in the game. Then, of course, Waterhouse equalizing. Then Arnett had to scrape from God alone knows where to get that third goal and that final goal to seal the win. But this is the kind of matchups I like. There's a reason they call it El Clasico, and I think it's because of the excitement that it draws towards the game.
Yeah, I kind of like the post-match comments from Xavier Gilbert. Whenever I hear him talk, he sounds... There's a lot of clarity and thought that I'm getting from him, and obviously because they are number 2 in the league at the moment, he'll be satisfied with where they are. So and they have so much youth in their setup, and quality coming off the bench. So I'm very respectful of Arnett Gardens and their trajectory in this tournament. I still like Mount Pleasant as a top team. And I see the Barbadian Omani Leacock debuting for Waterhouse last night.
Yeah.
Didn't have a bad game. I think it was his corner that Bygrave headed in. So he's highly respected in Barbados. I think they call him the chemist or something like that.
Ooh.
Wow, I wonder why.
Yeah, because
Does he
has
mix
magic.
things?
He creates
magic potions.
Magic potions.
I think he should find another name.
in the sporting world.
It's not a very good name in the sporting world. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but he played fairly well last night.
Yes.
And I'm hoping that Waterhouse can get their act together, because I see Waterhouse play and they have periods of good play, but they aren't getting the results.
Yeah, I would suggest to him that he changes the name to the Magician, but that one is already taken. So and it might be blasphemous for him to want to have that name. Anyhow, we are out of time for this Jamaica Premier League segment. Of course, lots more football on your home of champions, and lots more Jamaica Premier League football on your home of champions. Stay with us. Still a lot more to come on this show. They call it the Valentine's Day special. Lance and Mariah feeling the mood for love. Me, I'm just here.